I have actually received a message from a member of the roster on Control Your Narrative. So I'm kind of the Control Your Narrative guy now, and I get it. I'm really one of the only wrestling YouTubers making videos on Control Your Narrative consistently and regularly, so I get why I am that guy. But it's led to a lot of you guys asking questions about my actual thoughts on Control Your Narrative. So this is going to be a video where I answer a lot of your questions that you guys have left for me, and there are some good questions that I'm going to dive into, so I'm very much looking forward to answering these. Let's go ahead and get straight into this. The first question is, why do you torture yourself watching it? Again, why do you hate yourself that much? Obviously, I know this is a question in jest, but I'm going to answer the question, why do I watch Control Your Narrative? And I'll be completely honest with you, the reason I watch it is for content. If I wasn't a YouTuber, I wouldn't be watching this. I first thought I'd start watching it or make the first video on it because I thought this would be interesting to look at. You know, it's different, it's interesting, it's not for me, I don't think it's good, but it's interesting. And after watching it, I don't think it's interesting at all. It's not interesting, it's just kind of a frustrating watch in a way, because there's parts of it that are good, and I'll get onto those later. And another question, there are parts of it that are good, like I liked a lot of the match, or some of the matches on the show, but overall, just the presentation of it is just not interesting to me and comes off as trying way too hard. So the reason I watch it is purely for content. You know, I really, going into it, thought it was going to be a so bad it's good kind of thing. It's just straight up bad. It's not like, you know, Russo TNA. Russo TNA was so bad it's good. New Millennium WCW, so bad it's good. Season 4 of Lucha Underground, so bad it's good. Control Your Narrative isn't there. I think it can get there. Obviously, I'm not saying that's what they should be aiming for, but I hopefully they can, because it's a new promotion, as it goes on, they can, you know, make the right changes to make it more of a streamlined product, I guess. What is your opinion on Strowman? Obviously, Strowman is one of the biggest names in Control Your Narrative, probably the biggest. You know, he is a WWE Universal Champion working for this company, or a former one at that, WrestleMania main eventer, everything, all that, you know. Yeah, my opinion is I like Strowman. I liked him in WWE, obviously cooled down a bit on the last couple of years there, but there was a time where Strowman was huge, and I loved Strowman. I think since leaving WWE, since all the releases that have happened in the last couple of years, I think, as big as a name Strowman was one of the biggest names that got released, and I think he has had easily the coldest run since being released, you know. I think a lot of guys, you know, they've either stayed at the same level, they've either not done so much since leaving WWE, or you've had people like Deonna Purrazzo, who's done fantastic since being released. To me, Adam Scherr has really just had such a cold run. Like, it's been such a nothing run. He's gone to Control Your Narrative, this promotion. This is what he does post WWE, and he's a big name. He could get signed to any big promotion, but fair enough, he's chosen to do this, and maybe there's a reason why. Maybe he wasn't offered by AEW, Impact, or New Japan, but, you know, there's still a chance maybe we'll see him in those promotions in the future. I guess we'll see, though. Does the name reflect the company's style, or is it just pretentious BS? Pretentious BS, 100%. There's no way it reflects the company's style. It has absolutely zero link to the actual in-ring action, and I think it's really just a scapegoat for any decision that they make, because any wrestler, if they do something in the ring, say a certain thing on the mic, they're controlling the narrative. Every decision that a wrestler makes is just linked back to, oh, they're controlling the narrative, and I think it's just a bit cheap, to be honest with you. And to me, I've said it before, but I think the controlling your narrative thing is basically just a cheat code for their hiring process, so they can hire anyone they want and just say, oh, when they were having these controversial views, or when they were accused of this, they were just controlling the narrative. It just seems like a bit of a scapegoat for their hiring process, mainly, to be honest. How long do you think Control Your Narrative will last? I think it will last as long as EC3 and Adam Scherr, or whoever is involved in the higher-ups of Control Your Narrative, are willing to make it last. I think it is completely up to them. They could end it now if they wanted to, and I don't think it would be major, like a major blow. They could keep it going for a couple years, and I think it'll be the exact same level that it is at now in terms of popularity. Is just my personal opinion on it. It's completely down to them and how long they want to keep it going for. I don't know how profitable it is. That is not something I'm going to make an assumption on. I assume it is profitable if they're able to book all these talent and they're running all these shows. I am assuming so. But again, it's really down to how long these guys want to keep it going for. Because a lot of these wrestlers, you know, EC3, Adam Scherr, Cross, they can work for any company they want. They can get signed easily. So it's really down to whether they change their minds on this or not. Let's move on to some positive stuff. I don't want to be negative throughout this entire video. What's your only favourite part of CYN? Obviously, it says only favourite part. I have a couple of favourite parts. Mainly, my favourite part is the actual in-ring talent themselves. They have some decent talent. I just think they're utilised very poorly. I think EC3, as much as I think, again, same with Strowman, he's had a very cold run since leaving WWE. I think he's still a decent wrestler. I always loved him before Control Your Narrative. Cher, as I said, is decent. Redbeard, Damo, Weston Blake, as questionable as Austin Aries as a person, he's still a decent talent. So I think they have the talent in order to make a good promotion. Again, it's just about execution. But I'd say the talent is my favourite part of Control Your Narrative, and I think there's some unique characters in there, like Man Bun Jesus and the Space Cowboy. I think people like them have a place in Control Your Narrative as well. It's just all about execution. There's been some matches that I have liked, but it needs to be more consistent, well-rounded product. And then here's the other one. How do you think Control Your Narrative could be improved to actually become a successful product? Kind of leading on from what I said in the last one, but I think the main thing that Control Your Narrative lacks is just the basics, really. You know, they try to be different with the camera angles, the lighting, the narration, and all that, and I think it is possible to keep that, but the issue is they've just removed basic norms of wrestling. When you look at Lucha Underground, you see how they presented themselves. They were very different. They were cinematic, it was episodic, there was all these storylines, but they kept the basics in, you know, like having a referee in the ring and having normal rules to matches, or at least not overcomplicated rules to matches. Control Your Narrative removed the basics when they have matches that don't have referees. They have sanctioned or non-sanctioned fights. When they ban moves, I think they just need to just have the basics of wrestling in there, the fundamentals, and so it's identifiable as a wrestling product, because right now it really isn't. It's literally called Control Your Narrative. You show that to a casual wrestling fan and they will not know that's a wrestling promotion. It's because it's called Control Your Narrative. You know what I mean? So maybe change the name to CYN Wrestling rather than just Control Your Narrative / CYN. And again, just have it be more simple. Make it simpler, easier to digest. And I think that at that point they're on their way. Last couple questions here. Have you seen the dark match? Yes, I have seen the dark match, and it is absolutely amazing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, obviously, if you know what a dark match is in wrestling, it's the match that is for the crowd there, just for them to see, not broadcast on TV. It's a match for the live arena. Control Your Narrative took it a step further, having their dark match, because they had a dark match that was literally a dark match. It was wrestled with the lights completely off. You could barely see, the room was completely dark, and that was their dark match. So I haven't watched it in full, but I know about it, so maybe that's a thing I need to react to in the future. I think that will definitely happen. And for the final question, do you think Control Your Narrative roster members or even higher ups like EC3 or Adam Scherr have seen your content? And let me tell you that I have actually received a message from a member of the roster on Control Your Narrative. So there's a good chance that a few people at Control Your Narrative have seen it. I'm not going to read out the DM completely, but I will say I got a DM from Space Cowboy. You know, the guy who got beat up by the arm wrestler in the first video I watched. Yeah, he actually DM'd me, and to be fair, he was really cool about it. I have full respect for Space Cowboy. He was a part of it that I really liked, as I said previously in the video, and he just messaged me saying, you know, we can agree to disagree on the criticisms, but overall I appreciate you giving it a chance. And I kind of said to him, you know, Controlling Narrative is unlike anything I've seen before, but I recognise the use of younger talent, and he said that's something Controlling Narrative are trying to work on. And he also said that he would say hi to Man Bun Jesus for me, so that was really awesome. Big ups to Space Cowboy for that. He took it really well. I'm not going to show the whole messages, obviously, I'm just paraphrasing, but nice little interaction there. And it makes me wonder if EC3, Adam Scher, or anyone has seen the Controlling Narrative stuff. It really makes me wonder. That's going to do it for this video though, guys. If you did enjoy, then be sure to smack that like button. I'll see you all soon for some more Controlling Narrative stuff. We have a big video coming out this week where I will be watching Free the Narrative, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.